Okay, so the last part of the shorts, when we putting these shorts together. So if you can see, I took the shorts and I folded over and I sewed a zigzag stitch going all the way around, because what we're going to do is add this elastic with the safety pin. And then I hemmed the bottom of the shorts, okay? And the same thing with the top. I went around and the elastic is in this piece, and then I hemmed the bottom. So this is what's going to stop your tops from falling down when you make your shorts and tops and stuff like that. So see, now the elastic is in this piece. And this is the elastic that I got off of Amazon. This is probably 20 yards, and I probably paid no more than $7 or $6 with free delivery. So that's why I like to get my stuff in bulks, because a lot of times you might go to Joann's or somewhere like that. They don't have the, the deals. You wind up paying a lot for this, when you can go online and get it a lot cheaper. So you take the elastic and you leave an opening, and I left an opening. Let me find it. Oh, and when you do the elastic, of course, you're going to measure it around your stomach. Okay, see that? There we go. And the same thing, you'll measure going around the top. There we go. Okay, so you take the pin, you leave a little opening, don't sew it all the way closed. And we're going to take the safety pin and we're going to pull it through. So we will be starting back doing little different sewing series and stuff like that, and me cooking my little stuff, like doing my little stuff, like I was telling my friend, like this is the stuff that I kind of enjoy and I like doing. I like making stuff, my hats and stuff. So I just put it on my channel, just a positive outlet. I was talking to my therapist, and I know y'all probably, people from the way I dress, they assume, oh, she's got to be lit or something. No, when I was younger, I was more outgoing and did everything. I was just telling my friend that today, that I finally did everything in my life and went places and traveled and did. I'm finally at the point at 51, I'm relaxed, I'm content, and it's not a lot of things that I desire to do. Just kind of, people say when they retire, just chill. So I'm kind of in that peaceful, One of my babies is in heaven and my other son is grown. My grandkids have the choice. If they want to come over here and see me, they can. And when they don't have to. I was telling my granddaughter, when you don't want to come with Nana, don't let your mama force you. You do not have to come over here, baby. Nana do not take no hostages, okay? Yeah, because sometimes they want to stay at home and their mamas bribe them to come while they go out of town. So I'm going to take a little bit off, and then we pull this like this, and then I'm going to sew this together with the... So anytime you're sewing something that's got elastic in it, do the zigzag stitch. And then another thing I noticed, like sometimes if your needle keep coming out, you're not using the right needle. So if you're sewing clothes and your clothes is not acting right and they're not coming out right, then you have the wrong needle. So you see now the elastic is in, and then this little hole right here where we slid the elastic through, we're going to close that. So again, if y'all watched the video yesterday, if you want to make clothes and little short sets and, for yourself or for your grandkids or whatever, you can go on eBay. I used to get a lot of my spandex from eBay. Get 2 yards of spandex fabric, or you can wait to Joann Fabrics have a sale. But remember, you can go to Spandex World. But like when you find these type of fabrics, these inspired fabrics, you will have to go to SD's, eBay, stuff like that. They have these type of, you'll never like find these type of fabric, of course, because y'all know what that is and infringement. So you will never really find these fabrics in your local fabric stores. You'll have to find and search online and get this. And this will be complete. So now you have your like biker shorts with the elastic up in there, and we have the top, and we just clone that other outfit. So remember we talk about clone your clothes. So look, we just took this and you clone it. So remember this set that we did when I cloned it? Look, So see, that's what we talk about, cloning your clothes. And then the top. This is the top, tube top. And if you want protection at the bottom, where if you don't want to wear a bra and you don't want to feel like your boobies will fall out, put elastic at the bottom too. But don't use this same elastic. If you do, you got to cut your tube top wider. You could do a thinner one for underneath. And you could do that. And then we got the top. So as you see, I cut this a little bit longer so it can go down kind of more over my stomach. See? So you can alter it and make a little longer, a little less. So that is how you make these tube tops, spandex fabric. And remember, spandex has a 2-way and a 4-way. This particular fabric has a 4-way, meaning it stretch right to left, up and down. When you get ready to sew your clothes, you always want it to go. You got the lengthwise, you got your crosswise grain going this way, and then your true bias is going this way. So even you could take a fabric that is non-spandex, and when you scratch it against the true bias, which is going this way, you'll get it. That's why when y'all see me do my hats to make the stuff lay, I do it against the true bias going across that way, so that a fabric that is a stiff fabric, it will expand because you cut it on the true bias. That's what you learn from the school part of it. So I learned a lot of this from Misha, but a lot of the measurements and the technical stuff, I learned that from the books. And you know what, y'all? I need to find, when I packed, I hate when I do that. My stuff is packed. I need to find my diploma because I like to, from time to time, spot it and look at it. It's like an accomplishment. You can sit up and like, wow, I did that. You know, I got to find my diploma. I have no idea where I packed it. Like, I was packing crazy. Like, a lot of my stuff I'm still trying to find. It's like I was finding a shoe here or this there. I just couldn't. So I wind up, got the pest control to come and exterminate my garage. Because remember I told y'all when I went out there and a case of my shoes was in a box. And the garage is not connected to the house. So, you know, they run rapid, you know, outside or whatever. But they had got into my box and started eating my shoes. I didn't know that they was attracted to boxes and the fuzziness of the, you know, the boots, the suede, and they just ate it up. So now I have to go through it. They came and I got rid of anything that would attract them. He set poison and then did the little box traps to run them out. So my biggest fear is, you know, one of my neighbors said that one of her family members in Arizona, they went out of town and they didn't start their car for a while, and the mice had crawled up in the engine and started eating the air filter and laid their babies in there. When they started the car, it kind of fried them, but it totaled the car. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I definitely don't want them to think my car is a host, because I drive, but I'm not an everyday drive person. A lot of stuff I can do from home, deliveries from home. So a lot of times it might be 4 or 5 days and I don't been and drove the car. And I used to have the remote control connected to it, but remember I was having some issues where it was draining the battery, so I'll probably get that back connected. I just had them to disconnect it because I didn't want that problem. But I get that back because that was the point that I can start the car from the house without even have to ever go out there or whatever. Just warm it when it's really, really cold, winter months and stuff. I can start it and look at the device and see that it started. But yes, anyway, enough of all that. But you want to clone your clothes. This is what you do. And I love making this stuff. So more to come, guys. More to come. We'll be working on different stuff. I'm also watching food prepared shows. Because like, where I can prepare the food. But yes, we clone our favorite outfit. So I want to do, and remember I modified this to be a little longer than this. If you see, this top is a little longer so it can kind of go here. You can make this stuff for your grandbabies and different stuff like that. But please, how I learned before I went to school and got any diplomas or anything, I went on TV, and it's Misha TV. And she taught me how to make clothes without a pattern. And if for anybody that sews clothes and you want to learn that, and I had no idea how to sew or anything. A lot of things I learned from Misha, but like I said, behind the scenes, and rest in peace to her. I always give that credit because I learned a lot from her. Later in life, I wanted to have that diploma. So if I was like, you know what, one day I want to make wedding dresses, and one day, and it's like, I believe in manifestation, and you speak things into existence. And I always was afraid to make stiffer stuff because I never did it. I always will stick with this. And what I didn't realize is, the world is so crazy. Like when I was going to Joanne Fabrics at the time, before I learned about other stuff, they were saying sewing spandex material is harder sometimes than sewing a stiff material. I'm like, really? Because they're like, yeah, it moves, it does this, it does. But I learned a lot of stuff from the books where, like, when you're sewing spandex, there's a spandex needle. When you're sewing leather, there's a leather needle. It's not recommended for you to sew sequence. So like if you get a fabric and the sequence going down, what I learned is you pop all the sequences going down so it'll go right through it without you have to sew through the sequence. But then there's also heavy duty niggers. The bigger it is to go through, stubborn fabric. And then if your needle keep coming unthreaded, that means you don't got the right needle or the needle is dull, So I learned a lot of different troubleshooting techniques and skills from the books part. And I just wanted to have that respect that I am a real designer, So if I say, hey, don't look at me because I'm sewing your dress out of my home, I still got the credentials to be able to do this. So a lot of times people don't want to pay you. Like I said in the other video, it could be a girl that's a great stylist. She don't have a license, but you go in her house and people want to underpay her because, oh, she don't got no license and da-da-da-da, which, the chemicals and stuff is illegal. You shouldn't be putting that in people's hair. But a lot of times people just born gifted where they could do that. And I wouldn't say that I was born gifted. I feel like I have the gift of manifestation. I can speak and talk anything into existence where I have no idea how to do something. Even with the hats, for the people that's following me, it's been over a year, and I just got into the hats, and I feel like I've convinced my mind I can do it, and that's how I'm able to. When people, and I appreciate it, I say, you real talented. Anything I think and I try and I put that behind it, I get it accomplished. So I just want to encourage you guys, if you want to sew, you never sewn before, don't feel like you can't do it. Don't tell your mind that it's hard. Convince yourself that it's something that you're going to do and you're going to execute it with precision. So thank you guys for watching. More different stuff to come. And I appreciate y'all being here. Like, y'all are my true outlet. Like my therapist was telling me, like, with my ordeal. I'm sorry I'd be so personal, y'all, but with a lot of stuff that I went through, it kind of turned me into like agoraphobia. So what is going? I'm not to the point where I can't go outside all the time. I thank God of that. I can, but sometimes my anxiety gets so overwhelming where I'm unable at a point to go outside. It'd be too much. Like, nah, I can't interact. And I don't know, just being around a lot of people is almost like I'm having a heart attack. I can't do that anymore. And I used to be the life of the party, so I'm back in therapy. My therapist just had a baby, so when she get back, but there's stuff I want to work on because I'm trying to figure out what happened to make me transition to be in this mode. But I think too, a lot of it had to do with my son's death and the way that happened. It gave me more fear because they was at home and somebody came and did the unthinkable. So I think that has a lot to do with it. I'm not for sure, but it's just all of a sudden it was an overwhelming fear where I couldn't leave the house. I don't know, but we'll talk about that type of stuff another day. And I think May is either May or the end of March was mental health awareness. I think it was May. So I just try to encourage everybody. If you're going through something, sometimes our family don't understand, reach out to professional help and get the help you need because sometimes we need that. You guys have a great Saturday. Toodles.